Drop the weapon.
I don't know how to help you anymore.
Don't worry. The last thing I ever wanted in the world was for you to help me.
Nice to meet you, John.
We can't let them forget who runs the street.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Mr. Ibrahim, you've been described as the king of the cross.
We're investigators with the King's Cross Task Force.
There is a massive power shift happening.
But everyone has their price, right?
There's a system operating here.
They're after all of us. We're all on the firing line.
Go.
Me.
Been looking for you. There's nothing I won't do to protect my brother.
John!
Please, drop the weapon.
I am doing you a favour.
See this? That's my family. What are you trying to do, John? You're trying to start a war.
It's business, Sam.
This is the big new series, Australian series that Paramount Plus have dropped, and it is kicking off right now, available on Paramount Plus. Last King of the Cross, and it's really interesting. The opening sort of titles give you this warning that this is basically a fictional story based on the life of real characters. This is not a biopic, a fictional tale based on the life of real people. I mean, that's one way to step around all of the legal minefield that could come out of these stories that we've kind of seen before. Now, for those that are old like me, you'll recognize we've already had a series of Underbelly, The Golden Mile, that was set on King's Cross, featured John Ibrahim, and sort of told some of that tale. Since that time, the central character, John Ibrahim, has written an autobiography, legal to death, I'm sure, and then that is what we've turned into Last King of the Cross, with the caveat that there have been sort of characters made up based on real events, but not actually real events. You know, there's a fictional character, in this case played by Tim Roth, Ezra Shipman, who is a bit of a mix of other real life characters that may or may not have existed. I almost feel like I need to put a massive alleged over this whole review just to cover my legal, but meh. This is one of the first coming out of Helium Pictures, which is the new production company for Mark Fennessy, who used to run Endemol Shine here in Australia. And he's got a great pedigree when it comes to developing and delivering content. And I'm going to say to you that Last King of the Cross looks amazing. They built, at no small cost, a set out in Western Sydney in the shadow of a waterslide park, as it turns out, to reproduce the main stretch of King's Cross, so that they could film what they want when they want it. Makes complete sense. That's a very expensive way to make television. Reportedly, Lincoln Younes, who plays John Ibrahim, had like something like 50 or 60 costume changes across the episodes. I mean, great, whatever. It looks slick as hell. It really does look amazing. It does have more than a touch of the underbellies about it. There are bad guys. We want them to be heroes, but we don't want to cause bad problems. There's boobs. There's, you know, a love that can't be. There's an overprotective brother who, look, I think does a great job, Claude Jabbour, in the role of John's older brother, Sam. Actually, he's really dark and brooding, and I really like that. And for those that weren't aware, one of Ibrahim's friends, Cole Sanderlands, is also his King Cole Productions, has apparently got an interest in it. I think they were connected to the book deal, and that's how they've got connected to this. Make of that what you will. Certainly Cole helped host the launch that Paramount ran the other night ahead of this premiering. The first 2 episodes are already out on Paramount Plus right now. At times, I've only seen the first 2. There's more to come. At times, it's a whole new thing, and I think it does it takes some really bold storytelling strokes and certainly in the first couple of episodes where they're doing a little bit of here's young John, here's old John, here's young John, here's old John, old as in grown up John. A little bit too jumpy, a little bit too back and forth. We do get a real history into where the Ibrahim family came from and how they where they came from to land into Sydney and be a part of that. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, Australia is built on immigration, acknowledging the pain that caused our First Nations people, but certainly we have grown out of welcoming people from across the world to try and find a better life here. Not all of them have gone on to do great things because of good reasons. Some of them have found ways to make money, maybe a little bit shadily, allegedly. The cast for this is pretty incredible. As I said, Younes plays Ibrahim. Tim Roth, which is excellent bit of international casting, plays this character Ezra Shipman, the mythical crime boss that runs the Cross. Callan Mulvey is back after starring in a whole bunch of stuff overseas, including Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier and a whole bunch of other stuff. He's been in heaps of things. Jabbour, as I mentioned. Tess Haubrich is in it. She does a great job. The one that stands out for mine is Matt Nable, who is an excellent Aussie actor, former NRL player, who I think the strength of Nable is that he offers a real nuanced performance, whether he's the bad guy or he's the good guy or he's the conflicted guy. What you get out of Nable is a rock solid performance every time, and one that allows you to find points of empathy, ways to connect into the story that maybe you won't get from other performances. And certainly I think, and this is a not so great, but a passable moment for Last King of the Cross, Nable is the hired gun. He's the heavy for Tim Roth's character. So he narrates it and he tells some of that bigger story, at least early on. And he can be menacing and he can be gentle and he can be dismissive and he can be empathetic. He does a great job. The problem is that you don't get that out of Younes. We get almost a one-note performance from him. And that's not unhelpful when your central character feels very two-dimensional. And they don't really pop out of the screen. That's unhelpful. That said, it's easy to watch. It's super easy to watch. You just sit back and tune in and let kind of the good guy, bad guy stuff wash over you. Whether it's the corrupt cops, whether it's, King's Cross of the 80s, dutifully recreated, cars and all, the garish lights, the people looking for whatever kind of fun that they want to find themselves in on the Cross. I recommend to you Last King of the Cross on Paramount Plus. I would say it's worth watching because it tells an interesting story and it broadly, as I said, looks flopping great. It doesn't stand up to criticism easily, though. It just seems to kind of fall apart when you look at it and pick at the edges. That said, it's also Australian production, and I absolutely want to support that because there's a lot of Australians that have been involved to help make this happen and to get it across the line and to make it show what we can do. And this definitely does that. I think that Paramount Plus, as they get to shop this around globally, and I believe there's deals already in place into some other markets overseas, will show that as Aussies in the TV industry, we bat well above our weight. We make things look incredible. We can tell incredible stories. And so to that end, Last King of the Cross is great TV and we should encourage it. There are 10 episodes in Last King of the Cross. As I said, the first 2 have already dropped on Paramount Plus, and it will be a weekly drop for the next 8 weeks. Tune in, check it out. Paramount Plus giving us Last King of the Cross, the fictional autobiographical story of John Ibrahim, whatever that means.